Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2021 Toyota Highlander, we're going to be checking out the Hollywood Destination 2-bike platform style rack. So first impressions of the rack on the back of the Highlander, I think it looks pretty good actually. It blends in, kind of has a unique design to it, and it's really compact, which makes it really lightweight. So what I'm thinking, if you're someone that uses the rack from time to time or likes to pull it out a lot to put in other accessories, this definitely be something to consider. It's really easy to handle and maneuver and just doesn't really take up a whole lot of space. So with this rack, you can put a couple of bikes on it. It'll hold a total of 2. And the way it actually secures the bike is kind of unique as well. So we'll have a strap on each wheel. And there will be a rubber pad on it too to help kind of grip the rim, as well as, you're not going to have to worry about galling it or scratching it up. But then in the center, we're going to have this pad, and there's a strap around it, and that's going to grab your bike's frame. And just to kind of take a closer look at it, here's the one we're not using. So this is going to be adjustable up and down, and you can rotate it 360 degrees. So, you can kind of customize it really, and a ton of different bikes will work out with this rack. So that's really convenient. Pretty much whatever you ride, this should get you covered. With that said though, let's go ahead and take our bike off so we can have a closer look at it. You always want to start with the wheel straps here. So with these, you just push in on them, kind of flip them up and out of the way. Same deal for the one back here. Then for the one in the center, before you loosen this up, want to make sure just to, put a hand on your bike, because when we undo this, there's going to be nothing there holding it, so you don't want it to fall over into your car or anything like that. Well, we'll go ahead and push that out of the way. Then we're able to grab our bike, pull it off, and go hit the trails. So the center of the rack here, this can actually be folded down into a stored position. And when you do that, you can actually fold the rack up to free up some space. But whenever you have it like that, you're not going to be able to open up your hatch. It'll be in the way. Well, the cool thing is, even with the center portion upright and your bike's off, you're still going to be able to open up the hatch and get whatever you might need in and out of the back of your Highlander. Whenever we have the rack on the back of our Toyota, it is going to extend the overall length of it. And for those of you that are wondering, if we go from the bumper here to the very edge of the rack, looks like it's going to be about 26.5 inches. Probably not a huge deal, but if you got a really small garage or pulling into a tight parking spot, something you definitely want to kind of keep in the back of your head. With that said, this will flip upright and free up quite a bit of space. And in order to do that, it's pretty simple. We're going to have to fold the center portion down. So all you do is loosen up this T-handle. You'll flip this up, and I like to just kind of tuck it down there. With this too, be careful. If you get this too loose, I could potentially see this maybe rattling around and losing this T-handle here. So, it doesn't hurt to give it a couple turns, make sure it's on there good. You'll fold this down, and then you're able to flip it up. I did notice though, there's nothing really holding this. It's kind of just sitting here. So I wouldn't want it to bounce around, or even worse, once we fold it up, if you hit the brakes real hard or something, this could potentially move and hit the back of your Toyota. So what I would suggest doing is just taking one of these unused straps, putting it around, and just tighten it down. And that'll prevent it from, coming up. With that said, the way that we actually get it to fold up is if we move here. We're going to have a pen you can pull out. There's a knob on the other side. We'll pull that out. This will flip upright. And then if you're going to drive around with it like this, you definitely want to put that knob back in there. That way you can secure it and won't be bouncing around all over the place. Take the pin, put that in there too. And as you can see now, I mean, it freed up quite a bit of space actually. I will say probably the furthest point is going to be at the ends. And to see how much space we freed up, we'll take that measurement. And from the bumper to the end there, it's right at 16 inches. So in this position, really don't see it giving you a whole lot of issues, even if you do have a small garage or pull into that tight spot. So this rack is going to work with those 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube openings like we have here today on our Highlander, but it can also work with the smaller 1¼ by 1¼ hitches. So if you have another vehicle in the household with that size hitch, you know, chances are pretty good the rack is going to work with it. It does have a rise in the shank, which is nice, you know, it gives us a little more ground clearance, and it's going to come included with a anti-rattle bolt. And this is actually going to be a locking one. So there's a lock on the other side that'll keep it, you know, secured to your hitch. And what that anti-rattle bolt is going to do is eliminate any slop or play there in the connection point. That way, you know, the rack isn't bouncing around in the hitch and making a bunch of noise. So kind of give you an example of that. Let's say if we're going down the road, hitting some bumps, you can see that the rack is going to move with our Highlander and not on its own. So at the end of the day, a great simple way to get you back and forth to the trails. And honestly, I think it looks pretty good on the back of the Highlander. And that'll finish up our look at of the Hollywood Destination 2-bike platform style rack on our 2021 Toyota Highlander.